Welcome to the Inn of Whispers, my friend. My name is Gabriel. Join me as I share a story I heard on my travels. This story is called It Mimicked My Footsteps. What is the most terrifying sound in the world? It is not a scream or a monster's roar. It is the sound of your own footsteps, and the moment you realize you are not the only one making them. This is the story of a man named Arjun, a story he entrusted to me. It starts with a funeral and ends with a warning that could save you. Arjun was only 10 years old when his grandfather passed away. His grandfather had been a stern patriarch, a man Arjun barely knew. The house was filled with a chaos of grief, with wailing relatives and the scent of heavy incense. He was supposed to stay at an aunt's house, away from the solemn rituals. But driven by a child's morbid curiosity, he became a shadow. He slipped out and followed his mother at a distance, his small frame hidden by the bustling crowds. They were all moving toward the cremation grounds on the outskirts of town. The burning grounds were vast and open under the hazy, late afternoon sun. The body, cleansed and wrapped in white, was carried on a structure of bamboo and wood. His father and uncles chanted old prayers, their voices a low, resonant drone. Arjun felt like an outsider looking in on a sacred, adult world. As dusk began to bleed into the sky, the ceremony reached its peak. The air grew thick with smoke and a profound sorrow. Overwhelmed and suddenly exhausted, Arjun found a secluded spot. It was a cold, stone memorial platform for some other forgotten soul. Hidden from view, he let the rhythmic chanting lull him into a deep, unexpected sleep. He did not wake up gradually. He was jolted awake. The silence was the first shock, a heavy, suffocating blanket. The second shock was the cold, a damp chill that bit through his clothes. He sat up, his heart already beginning to hammer in his chest. He was completely and utterly alone. Not a single person remained. The only light in the oppressive darkness came from his grandfather's pyre. It was no longer a fierce fire, just a mound of embers. The embers glowed with a faint, pulsating red light, like a dying heartbeat. The darkness around it was not an absence of light. It was a solid presence.
Hello.
His voice was small and brittle, swallowed by the night without an echo. This was not right. This was a nightmare. He scrambled off the platform, his legs feeling wobbly beneath him. He had to get home. He had to find someone. He started to walk. Then he began to jog, his eyes fixed on the distant tree line. His feet crunched on the gravel and hard earth. He picked up the pace, breaking into a full, panicked run. Then he heard it, a lag, a half-second delay. Another set of footsteps landed precisely where his had just been. He froze mid-stride, his blood turning to ice in his veins. The second set of footsteps stopped exactly when he did. The synchronization was perfect and utterly unnatural.
Who's there?
Only the silence answered him, a silence that now felt mocking and intelligent. He told himself it was an echo. It had to be an echo. He forced himself to take 3 more steps. The other steps matched his perfectly. It was not an echo. An echo does not stop and start with you. An echo does not have the same weight, the same texture. This was a perfect copy. A mimic. Pure, undiluted terror seized him then. He ran, blind with fear, his sobs now loud and ragged. The thing ran with him, not behind him, but beside him. He could feel it, a pocket of freezing air just to his left. A rasping, dry sound of breath began to sync with his own frantic gasps. It was studying him, learning him. He tried to scream for his mother, for anyone who could help, but his throat clenched shut, tight as a fist. All that came out was a strained, airy wheeze. From the void beside him came a new sound, a wet, gurgling ripple. It was a laugh. The thing was stealing his sound, his voice, and replacing it with its own. Just when he thought his heart would burst, he saw a break in the trees. A clearing. In the distance, he saw the soft glow of lanterns near the community pond. His family, they were still there. A surge of hope gave him one last burst of energy. He burst into the clearing, his arms flailing. But he was a silent, screaming phantom. An aunt was standing near the water. She turned and she saw him. The relief he expected to see on her face never appeared. Instead, her features twisted into a mask of sheer, unadulterated horror. Her mouth fell open. Her eyes were locked onto the space directly behind his left shoulder. She let out a scream. Piercing shriek that tore the night in two. In that same instant, it touched him. A hand clamped down on his left shoulder. It was solid and dense, like a block of ice carved into the shape of a hand. A bolt of freezing agony shot down his arm and up his neck. It locked every joint in his body. He was a statue. Paralyzed. He stared into his aunt's horrified face. The last thing he registered was a smell. It was a vile, sweetly rotten odor, like old flowers decaying in a sealed tomb. Then his world went black. He was found unconscious by the pond. He was delirious with fever for a week, trapped in endless nightmares. The physical sensation of that icy hand lingered on his skin for days. The nightmares and the occasional cold sweat on his shoulder lasted for years. People told him it was his grandfather watching over him. They said his grandfather guided him to safety and tapped his shoulder to say he was safe. For a long time, Arjun tried to cling to that idea. He wanted desperately to believe it. But in his heart, he always knew the truth. The thing that hunted him, that mirrored his every move with cruel precision. The thing that smelled not of peace, but of decay. That was not his grandfather. That was not family. And he learned it the hardest way imaginable. Be careful what name you call into the silence, because you never ever know who is listening. I hope you enjoyed this story, friend. Please share your thoughts below, and what would you have done? Like and subscribe for more stories at WhisperInn. And if you have a chilling story you'd like to share, contact the innkeeper to have it whispered. But until then, safe travels, my friend.